Okay, so I kind of have been following the news, and I know this is a tragedy, and obviously people are dead. The shooter and the another person, 2 people in critical condition, plus others that were injured and whatnot. And so, notwithstanding that, yes, this is a tragedy. And so I'm going to acknowledge that straight out, and whatnot. But I want to look at this incident from the perspective of someone that, I've studied emergency management and different active shooter situations and different things like that. I minored in emergency management in college. Haven't gotten my degree. I've seen one class. So I wasn't able to get my degree in emergency management. But I also teach K-12 enrichment. And so I actually, I know quite a bit about teaching math and angles and, how to measure lines and, what array is as a point going off into one direction, yes? And so basically, we're looking at these maps and we're seeing what happened with Saturday's incident, right? Attempted assassination and whatnot. You can actually see and measure distances and angles. And so people are calling this a lapse of security. And yes, it may well have been, but it was also a thing of a lack of, basic geometry. Like, if you think about it, from any position on that stage or along the path that somebody could walk, anybody, presuming that they're about, Trump's height or taller, you would probably want to do taller, right? You should be able to measure and figure out what the angles and lines of sight are anywhere along that path. And you should be able to do that, as geometry teaches us, from one single point, put rays out in all directions to check those lines of sight, yes? And so it should have been possible to see that, hey, this building is a security issue because it has multiple lines of sight that are going to where, people are. Whether that's people on stage, people in the stands, and I think oftentimes when we view these incidents, it's, that person had a line of sight directly to the person talking, but what about the lines of sight for people that are in the stadium, right, in the stands? Because even if you don't have direct line of sight to a main speaking target, but you still have line of sight to others, especially there were other, government officials and, different people. I don't really follow too much. I follow enough government to be able to teach about government. I try to stay out of politics as much as possible, especially these days, divisive issues. Anyways, I do have my own opinions, and I very rarely make them known except when things come up. But I would also like to point out that I cannot see the comments, so I'll have to read any comments after this. But, line of sight, people. It should be basic geometry, right? The other thing I want to bring up is that now we do have drone technology and stuff, so that, you know, could be used. I mean, the only thing I can think of, I know that some local cops had gone and tried to engage the perpetrator. That just came out on the news 2 hours ago, apparently. But, you know, how did we not better secure that building? Posting people there, maybe. You know, should there have been, you know, more Secret Service hire people than just local police, especially given line of sight concerns. But this should go for our bigger events too. Like, to do this kind of damage, some person who does not care for human life or does not care for their own life can take a weapon, shoot it into a crowd of people. Even if they don't have direct line of sight, they still have line of sight to people, they can still do harm in that manner with a long-range weapon. And so, you know, these are things that we should be concerned about for just general gatherings, not even specifically, you know, other gatherings. And it's really, really sad that this actually has to be an issue at all. But it is. So let's talk about it and let's see, how can we secure venues so that people with line of sight cannot take advantage of that and cause havoc, because there are sick people there. And so I would encourage you, if you know site event managers and people of that nature, you know, I would encourage you to encourage them to look at potential line of sight issues with their venues, you know, and put those into their security and safety plans. Because ultimately, you know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure type of thing. Of course, in the case of this that happened, no amount of cure will bring back the lives lost, right? So there's that problem. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Let me know what you think. Bye.